Take a look around and you'll see everyday Australians. But which ones are leading extraordinary lives in hidden worlds? Worlds a million miles away from yours. I'm Sabur Bradley and I'm going to take you inside those worlds. And the only way to do that is to dive in head first.
The champion Melbourne kickboxer has been killed in Syria. Foreign Affairs officials are trying to find out how he died, but family and friends reject suggestions that he'd gone there to join the rebels.
A few months ago, 23-year-old Roger Abbas was on his way to an international kickboxing bout in China when it was cancelled and he went to Syria instead. It's reported that he crossed into Syria to do aid work and was caught in crossfire, but his body has never been found, and the exact date and place of death is still unknown. When the news broke, it set off a chain of stories about Australian-born citizens heading to Syria to take part in the war. The national media is calling it the new jihad. But the strange thing is that many of those travelling across, including Roger Abbas, are not even Syrian.
So why are born and bred Aussies like Roger risking their lives in a country that they have no connection to? I want to answer that question by going across to Syria with one of these so-called jihadists. But first, I need to find one.
Although these guys are protesting against the bloodshed, most of them support the uprising.
What do you want? When do you want it?
Nice to meet you, man.
What's your name?
Zaki Mala. How's things?
Yeah, good.
Excellent.
How about you?
Oh, fired up. Calling for a revolution.
Really?
For a successful one.
The Syrian conflict was born back in 2011 out of a wider movement known as the Arab Spring. Protesters called for the resignation of the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad. The president deployed the army, and pretty soon the protest turned into an armed rebellion that has claimed more than 60,000 lives.
The Arab conflict for freedom. It's the people of the Middle East versus their dictators.
Really?
Their brutal regimes. I went to the front line. I risked my life.
You went there?
Yeah, I went to Syria. I got a in-depth understanding of the revolution by the very same individuals who are fighting the revolution. And as a result, I lost a close mate. He died on the balcony fighting Assad forces, and I nearly got killed myself.
You went over there to fight or to...?
No, not to fight. We have an arms embargo in Syria. Therefore, it's against the law for any Australian to go to Syria and take up arms.
What did you go over there for?
To understand the situation, to record. Why just sit here and do nothing?
Yeah.
It's interesting that Zaki, who's Lebanese Australian, sees this as a political struggle, not religious. The sister of kickboxer Roger Abbas is also here, registered nurse Sonia.
When was Roger killed?
I don't even know the exact date, to be honest. We just got the news probably a few weeks ago.
Was he Syrian?
No, he's
Not
Australian.
Syrian. Okay, he's Australian.
Well, we're Lebanese, but born in Australia.
And so he felt strongly enough to go all the way over to Turkey to help out Syrians?
Such a good-hearted person, just to help out the kids, I guess. I would do the same.
Would you?
I would do the same, yeah.
So you're going across?
Yeah.
Would you mind if I came and met with you another time, like outside of the process?
Yes, yeah, no worries.
The next day, I head out to meet Sonia at the car yard she runs with her husband, Khalil.
Hello.
Hi.
Cars must run in the family, because as well as being a kickboxer, her brother Roger was a mechanic.
So this is your place?
Yeah, Khalil is the manager of the car yard.
Okay.
And so am I. And
How did this come about?
This is what I'm doing to show Australian people what happened in Syria. Okay, because I'm from Syria too. I thank God we are here in Australia. Okay, because Australia touch us what the freedom is, and we want the freedom what in Australia to be in our country. They attacked me a couple of times.
Really? Who's they?
Okay, the Assad supporter in Australia.
Right.
Okay, they tried to kill me a couple of times.
They tried to kill you?
Yeah.
Assad supporters back President Bashar al-Assad. The opposition is the Free Syrian Army. Khalil supports them.
How do you feel about that, though, with all the death threats and everything, Sonia?
It was a bit scary,
Yeah.
but it's all words, basically.
Really?
I have to be quite honest with you, I'm not into politics or never knew anything about Syria. I was actually against all the flags and everything
Oh, you're against
originally.
this car?
Yeah, I used to tell him, take them off. We don't need them. We don't need trouble in our life.
Yeah.
And to a point where when recently my brother got killed, and I said, just stick them up.
It was after Roger.
Yeah.
Did Roger ever talk to you about himself going?
No, just like before it was our Christmas time, we were sitting down watching the news at my parents' place. There was an occasion, so we were sitting there watching, and he went all teary just watching those kids and watching people dying. He basically just, well, I remember one saying, oh, these kids need help. We should all go and help them. And I said, bro, I am going to go. My intentions are, I am going to go. I'm going, man.
But Sonia never got the chance to go and help, and now she has a far more personal reason to visit. She wants to find out what happened to her brother.
What about your family? How do they feel about you going across?
They're fine, yeah,
Really?
yeah. They know if I decide I want to do something, I'll just go ahead and do it. No one's going to stop me. Like Eula tried and she didn't succeed.
Eula, your friend Eula tried?
Yeah, she tried.
I've got mixed feelings about this, to be honest. I think she's crazy that she's going in such a difficult and dangerous time, only because a lot of people that do go don't end up making it back, and it's really hard. Like, we have to say goodbye to her just in case she never comes back. And on the flip side, we're very proud of her because it's a very brave thing, and she's one of the bravest women we know.
Oh, she makes me all teary.
She's doing it from her heart, and that's the only reason we support her. And she's crying.
Am I? It just comes out.
How many children do you have?
Wow, oh, Eula. I've got 4.
4 children?
Yeah. If I go, my kids have got a father, but the other kids got no mum, no dad. So, you know, it's basically the chance I take.
Aren't you worried that the same thing could happen to you that happened to Roger?
Not really. No, I'll become stronger after this.
It's only been about 3 weeks since Sonia heard that Roger was killed in crossfire near a refugee camp in Syria, but his body has still not been found.
You said you wanted to get Roger's belongings.
If I find them more than anything, yeah.
Has his body been brought back to Australia?
No. That's what I'm saying. I don't know anything.
He's Muslim, so he would have been buried quite quickly after being shot. So his body would be there on the border somewhere, either on the Turkish side or the Syrian side. Is that what you're looking for?
That's right.
Are you ready to potentially find out things that you don't want to find out? Would you be okay if I came along with you?
Oh, that would be great. If you wanted to do that, you're welcome.
It all seems a little surreal that I could soon be in Turkey, but that afternoon, I get a wake-up call. The Syrian government has fired missiles into a border province of Turkey called Hatay. Hatay is the place where Sonia thinks that Roger crossed the border on his way to those refugee camps inside Syria. So even though it looks like it's getting pretty dangerous there at the moment, that's the place that we're going to be starting our search.
Syria's President Bashar al-Assad has called the battle for Aleppo a fight for the fate of the country.
The Assad regime for yesterday's mortar attack on
voted to impose sanctions on Syria.
I've come to Turkey just a little bit ahead of Sonia and Khalil so that I can prep for going to the Syrian border.
Back in Australia, I'd read about the story of Brisbane boy Yahya El Kholed. The Australian of Syrian and Lebanese descent decided to travel to one of the deadliest battle zones in Syria to work as a humanitarian. I'd sent off an email hoping to meet up with him if I ever made it inside, but he's already out, and I'm wondering why.
Later, I'm assuming the plan wasn't to come back after only 3 weeks, so what happened?
What happened is I had some money and I ended up wasting it.
Right, really?
Really quick. I thought it would last me a lot longer than that, but there were so many people, so many hungry people. And also the Free Syrian Army spoke to me. They said, you know, like, there's, other than fighting, which I'm not going to do, the best thing you can do is help go get some cash, also keep feeding these people, get the world outside knowing what's going on.
You felt enough, like, as an Australian, you felt strongly enough to go halfway around the world to a place there where you could get killed to help out with the Syrians.
Yeah, I would do that for them. I'll do that for Australia any day as well. That's just humanity. We went into schools, I went into schools, I was supplying them with oil, with stuff like this. Also at the time, when I went in there, I thought I could just buy things from the shop and then give it out. You can't even do that.
Because?
Because there's none.
Do you think that money that you took over there and the work that you did in the 1.5 weeks actually made any difference? No?
Somewhat of a difference. Obviously, $7,000 makes a difference, but it's like a needle in the ocean.
Were there any other Australians that you saw over there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're never in the areas I got into, the most most devastated areas, but they're in the area between Turkey. You'll see them all, Turkey and Azaz. They help that. They won't come in though.
Why?
They'll get killed.
It seems Yahya went for humanist reasons rather than anything else. Of the Australians I've met so far, there does seem to be a common link, and it's not jihad.
All these Aussies who go across to Syria seem to have this real naivety to them that they can just turn up and help, you know? But each of them seems to get this wake-up call when they arrive in some way. And it makes me wonder what Roger faced when he went to the border. And it also makes me wonder what Sonia is going to face when she goes there, and whether she's going to get a wake-up call as well.
Sonia and husband Khalil arrive at the hotel.
Here we are.
Welcome to Turkey.
I know, it's lovely, isn't it?
You're getting closer and closer to Roger, huh? How does it make you feel, Sonia?
Yeah, good, nervous, but yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Khalil has made an important breakthrough. He's on the phone to someone who he says is part of a Free Syrian Army brigade fighting inside Syria.
منين بتنصحنا لحتى نفوت على أي مدخل؟ أنت بتسمع بهاتاي؟
Hatay refugee camp is in Turkey, but very close to the border. And Hatay is the province that Sonia believes Roger went through to get to Syria.
خير إن شاء الله. نحن إن شاء الله على بكرة أنا بحكي معك بس أوصل لهونيك وبنعمل موعد إن شاء الله مشان نتقابل ونفوت إن شاء الله على سوريا. وبارك الله فيك.
What's his name?
Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Ahmedi.
Yeah.
And Ahmedi. And so he sounded trustworthy?
He sounds trustworthy.
He's very, very.
He did sound very...
If we're going near the border, there's one thing we're going to need.
What I need each of us to do is to try on our particular flak jacket and helmet and gas mask to make sure that everything's there and that they all work.
I think it's like that.
Gas masks, helmets, and bulletproof vests. We're ready to go to Hatay. We're in Hatay, Turkey.
He honestly thought that side was Syrian.
No.
And one thing is starting to become clear. Sonia and Khalil are lovely, but they might be a little out of their depth.
Over that mountain, Syria. How do you feel?
It's great. Oh my God. Seeing this, I want to go now.
You want to go now? It's beautiful, huh?
If Roger went from here to either of the 2 refugee camps inside Syria, then I need to know which one. And the best people to ask are the fixers who take people in and out all the time.
If he was working in the refugee camps and he was killed in a crossfire, it's not possible.
Really?
It's not possible. There were no fightings near the refugee camps. The thing is, it might be Jabhat al-Nusra anyway, because they're always there.
Jabhat al-Nusra, or Al-Nusra Front in English, is an extremist group operating in Syria whose fighters are mainly non-Syrian. Why do you say Jabhat al-Nusra?
I mean, if he went to the towns, it might be this. There is no crossfire there, unless he went to fight.
If Roger hooked up with Al-Nusra, then his story has taken a darker turn. The Australian kickboxer will have gone from humanitarian to extremist. I talked to another fixer who also says Roger would have been with Al-Nusra Front, and then he makes me an offer.
He said, I have a very good connect with Al-Nusra Front in Aleppo. I can call them and confirm that Roger was with them and died. But what you have to do for me is I need to meet with the sister, with Sonia.
Fighters from the Al-Nusra Front, they're known as the Third Army in the Syrian conflict, fighting neither for Bashar al-Assad's regime nor the Free Syrian Army. They say they're soldiers of God. The US has now officially designated the Al-Nusra Front a terrorist organisation.
What do you think?
That's the first I hear.
Do you think that would be a group that Roger might be associated with?
Can't say. No. This, like I said, it's the first time I ever hear these people.
So there is one way that we can actually confirm or deny where he was, but there is one thing that he needs.
Everyone is nervous. Sonia's finally realizing she may be about to uncover an unpleasant truth about her brother.
I'm scared. Very.
That he'll be part of it.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know. This is what I'm saying. I was more comfortable not knowing if it's going to be to that point.
But it's too late. Samir the fixer has arrived and I bring him to our table.
ما أجاني أي إثبات. أسأله وفى.
ترى في احتمال كبير انه
الله يسمع منك. بس ما يكونوا عم يعذبوا فيه.
لا لا لا. ضمن
أنا يعني جيتي أنا ماني متأكدة بهالشيء لأنه منو من هالنوع يعني ما بيعرف حدا. هلا أنا كنت غلطانة. You know what I mean?
المشكلة انه بينضم الشباب بيعتبروها عندهم قدرة
خلص exactly يعني نحن قابلين إنه نستشهد بس بدنا فهمت شو قصدي.
He could still be alive?
Well, he did say to me there's a possibility that he could still be alive and that he would have been brainwashed.
I mean, brainwashed into that extreme Islamic ideology.
Yes. Look, Roger would never get brainwashed. I know my brother. Today, he took me a step back from where I was.
Explain.
Basically knowing that's it, that he's dead, and that's the news that we got. And now today after speaking to Sam, telling me that he could be alive, it's taken me actually a couple of steps back.
To the time when you found out the news?
To the time that I found out the news.
I feel bad for Sonia because this is giving her hope, you know, and it could be false hope. And I feel bad that that's what we could be doing, but she wanted to come here and this is what's happened.
Samir, the fixer, said it would take him 3 days to find out whether Roger is still alive. So while we wait for that call, I'm going to follow up another lead. One of the other fixers, Mehmet, believes the only other place Roger could have been caught in crossfire was at a battle that happened around 2 months ago near a border village called Geveci.
Up to 2 months ago, this area, the border area, controlled by Syrian regime military. And 2 months ago, rebels attacked on them and captured this part of the border.
He has footage of the battle on his phone.
Would it have been like this or worse?
Would be worse, much worse. Other side of the road is Syria, this side Turkey. And this road used by military is not by civilian.
Mehmet's contact from the village arrives and Khalil briefs him.
نحن جايين في مهمة لأنه في عندي أخو مرتي أجا على هو شامبيون بالكيك بوكسينج بأستراليا. كويس. وأجا ليساعد اللاجئين والأطفال والنساء. اللي في تركيا. والله شايف.
بحياة الله.
إيه والله.
وين بأي؟
شايف على هالطرقات هي اللي جينا عليها. هي الفترة تقريبا. والله صار لها زمان. يعني صار لها 3 شهور.
And you're absolutely sure? Absolutely sure that it was this one?
متأكد هو عيونه حتى عيونه
He says his eyes you'll never forget.
مستحيل هذا شايف لهذا الشيء.
Did you talk to him?
لا. يعني شايف هيك صدفة بالطريق يعني هيك. كويس.
He was with the Free Syrian Army?
لا ما بعرف. ما بعتقد.
He doesn't know.
يعني ما بعرف إنه شفته مع ناس مدنيين. لا شفته مع ناس مدنيين.
Sonia, wow.
Wow.
If it's true.
My God.
Wow.
It makes sense. It's like you hear something every day and
I know,
we
every
have
day
to
is
now
something.
put it all together. Geez, I'm close to my brother. Now, can you imagine? Are we going to go across there?
We will take it step by
Yeah.
step.
It's a massive breakthrough. Mehmet starts making calls to his Syrian contact at the nearby refugee camp in Turkey. If Roger was moving back and forward across the border, his contact will know because he coordinates all activists going across.
Okay, ma salamat again. Okay, we meet him inside in Yaylada. He's staying in the camp, but he's in the town now.
Hi, Sonia.
Mehmet's contact is Mohammed, a Syrian man who fled the conflict with his family and now travels back and forth across the border helping his people.
بس حبيت أسألك سؤال إذا بتكون إذا فيك إنه تقلي إذا شفت هذا الشاب.
شكله ما غريب عني على فكرة. يعني ما فيني أقول لك شيء. إلا إذا ما سألنا وتأكدنا.
And do the Syrians welcome these outsiders, these foreigners to help, or do you think they get in the way?
أكيد لأن الناس تحت بوضع مأساوي. بيرحبوا بهيدا الأمر. أي شخص بيجي بيساعد بيرحبوا فيه.
Is there any al-Nusra front fighting in your area?
لا ما بمنطقتي لا ما في جبهة نصر.
So none of the area where Roger, if he was going in and out, would there have been Jabhat al-Nusra in there at all?
لا.
No.
لا بعدين جبهة النصر يعني نحن اللي الشعب السوري طبعا نرفض إن يكون في شيء مثل جبهة النصرة. تمام. بس اللي خلانا نقبل بجبهة النصرة إني تاركين النظام وتعمل مجازر وما وقفوها.
Just yesterday, the United States made that Jabhat al-Nusra. They said they were a terrorist organization.
اللي عم تعمله جبهة النصرة إن هي عم بتوقف النظام إن يدخل بين المدنيين. ناس اللي بتعتبرهم أمريكا جهاديين وإسلاميين إني كانوا عم يحموهم. أنا بعيني ما فيديو. أنا رأيي اللي ترك الشعب السوري ينقتل والأطفال والمجازر بالآلاف هو الإرهابي.
What he's saying echoes some of the Australians who came across here. For them, it's not about religion or politics, It's about helping people to survive. In terms of our search for Roger, though, I feel like I need to get to know him a bit better. Was he a humanitarian, a jihadist, or both?
Roger was a beautiful person. Too much of a good-hearted man. That's who he was. This is a photo of him and I when he was a baby.
So cute.
He was a big boy.
Those cheeks.
Yeah.
So how much older than him are you?
About 16 years. He was everything to me. This was our Eid, they say Easter,
right.
Our Eid. This is the kind of person he is with all his nephews and nieces. Love children. I love children. They're following his footsteps now, actually. They're going training.
Really?
Yes, they are. They want to be Roger. That's what they said. Okay.
Where's
now,
this from?
This is in Syria, and there's many more. There's heaps more, as you can see. Have a look.
Children.
This is what made Roger come.
Really?
I know it is. It's exactly what it is.
Sonia wants to visit a refugee camp on this side of the border, and I need to start thinking about our next move. Roger may have been fighting with al-Nusra Front, but at the same time he was seen crossing the border, possibly delivering aid. The only way to confirm what he was doing is to cross the border ourselves. But it's a war zone on the other side, so we'd have to enter unofficially. And for me, going into a war zone with two parents just doesn't make sense. So I've come up with another option.
What's the option?
So I've been ringing around, and I have found out that I can actually get permission for you and us to go to Kilis and then to go into Syria and work at the refugee camps in Syria.
I'll have you. Very. It'll be great. Yeah.
So Khalil, we leave really early, around dawn. Thank you.
Good luck, guys. I'll be thinking of you, seriously. Oh, God, I'm getting tears to my eyes already. I'll be missing you.
I'm still not sure about Khalil or what we'll find over there, but if we're going to go down, then we'll go down together.
Good morning. Take care. Bye.
Okay. So we're going to the Syrian border. Let's see if we make it.
The first 5 minutes of the trek start out fine, but it soon becomes obvious we've got a big problem on our hands.
How you feeling? You tired too? All right.
And it's not the Turkish military.
My neck, man.
You hadn't been walking for 100 meters?
Yeah. No, how long I have been? More than 15 years.
Finally, we arrive at the agreed meeting spot, but there's no one there.
So the border is just over there. We're waiting here for our fixers, our guide's brother to come and pick us up. Just over there is Syria.
And at any moment, the Turkish military might go out on patrol and discover us. Then suddenly, we see someone coming from the other direction. We walk for about 1 kilometre. And when the border is about 100 metres away, they stop and tell me I have to run, and don't stop running, even if I hear gunshots. It's one of the most terrifying runs of my life. Just when I think I can't run any further, I hear a shout in Turkish, and then
Syria. We have just come over the border from Turkey into Syria. This is Syrian soil, and ahead of us is the war, the Free Syrian Army, the Saudi forces, and maybe the answer to the question, what happened to Roger Abbas?
Welcome, Syria.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
our first sighting of our Free Syrian Army hosts is a taxi.
Car of choice for freedom fighters. The Corolla. Taxi Corolla.
This is the commander of the Free Syrian Army in this area. Before the war, things were different. He was a taxi driver. A lot of this area is controlled by the Free Syrian Army, but not all. Checkpoints have been set up to monitor all movement. We stop at one of those checkpoints to talk to a group of Free Syrian Army fighters who will know whether Roger was in this area in the past few months or not.
هون احنا كلياتنا مجموعتنا 60 بس هون في شي 10 وفي جبهة.
Some of the men have defected from the Syrian army. One of them says he was shot as he tried to do so.
The shot here came through here by Bashar, the Assadi forces. Does the Free Syrian Army get any help from foreign fighters coming in to help you?
بيجي شي بسيط يعني ما اني بيجي ونحن اللي بيجي اهلا وسهلا فيه. لانه ما حدا وقف معنا.
One of the things we're doing here is we're looking to see if anyone has seen this man, Roger Abbas.
هذا شيء من استراليا. لهون اجى هذا الشاب مرة اجى بس اجى لي يساعد انسان الشاب.
The green.
شفته؟ كان جاي لي يساعد انسانيين هذا الشاب.
But where did you see him?
انت وين شفتوه؟
كان بجبل التركمان.
كان بسلمى اول شيء كان بسلمى.
او far from here. ده بعيد من هذا الجبل التركمان.
تقريبا 30 35.
So he was helping the Free Syrian Army. He was moving with the Free Syrian Army to help people.
هي المساعدات مستلمين الجيش الحر بيوزعوها عرفت؟ هلا Free Syrian Army like baby shower.
That's a bomb being dropped in the area of Jabal Turkman, the place they say Roger went to, and there are more.
Is this a lot of bombing or normal?
And although the commander says he'll give us men if we want to go there, at what cost?
For us it's important, but for them to put like 6-7 people their life in danger for the information.
Maybe it will have to wait until after the war.
Is the easy way. After the wars, can you find everything? Everything discovered easy to find it, like the snow. When the snow goes, can you see what in the ground? Now you want to say Syria, the snow.
So I'm not sure really what to do at this particular point, but I think that the really good thing is that we have a name and a place of where he was last seen going to, and more than likely died.
We're driven through the countryside to another checkpoint, where we're supposed to stay the night. But with heavy bombing expected, the plan suddenly changes.
Mehmet, yo, we're coming back tonight. Understand? Yeah, we're coming back tonight. It's a good night to cross, so we're going to come back tonight.
He's still there. So, we got over the border from Syria. We got over to the bottom of the mountain, towards us. And from the sounds of the voices and the fact they were in uniform and carrying guns, they were Turkish military police. And I just started running. I think if they see the light, then they'll come back. All right, turn it off.
After waiting in the dark for a few hours, we're finally able to get to a safe house in the nearest village to meet Sonia. For me, this adventure is nearly over. Or so I think. This guy is a Free Syrian Army fighter recovering from injury. And although he won't go on camera, when he sees Roger's photo, he drops a bombshell. Al-Muhajirin is another group that consists only of foreigners. Muhajirin means immigrants.
مهاجرين فيها ليبيا من ليبيا فيها شوي سعودية فيها من أستراليا.
When you speak with them and you ask if they coming to fight.
لا هن جايين يشوفوا كيف المنطقة هون كيف الوضع يعني كيف المساعدات الإنسانية يعني عم يوثقوا شوية أمور بعتقد الساطن تحت كتيبة المهاجرين سلمى.
Salma. That's exactly what the guy at the checkpoint said.
He said still there.
They're still there?
He believe he's still there. They still because he injured, they sent him to Turkey.
All the conflicting information is too much for Sonia, and she seems to not want to make any comment about what she's hearing. The fighter promises to call me in the morning with more info. This journey is not over. We're still in Turkey. Sonia is still in shock, and we're heading for the Syrian border. This time, we're going to cross officially. This is all on the basis of a phone call I got in Hatay 2 nights ago.
Hello? Yes. No, I'm just on the roof because the reception is better up here.
But it's not a call from the injured Free Syrian Army fighter.
I can hear you, but
it's a contact of his who can speak English.
You saw 3 Australians. Are you sure that they were Australians? So there were 3 Australians spotted at the refugee camps inside Syria about 2.5 months ago. About the same time that Roger would have been here. And he swears that one of them was Roger Abbas. He swears. He says if we go to either of the 2 camps, then there are people there, there must be people there who can confirm it.
So that's where we've come, Azaz refugee camp, just inside Syria. We could cross the border officially this time because this part of Syria is completely controlled by the Free Syrian Army. This is the last chance for Sonia to find info on her brother.
Did you ever meet this man here from Australia to help out with IHH, the food, the medicine, anything? You ever see him?
And straight away, we hit pay dirt.
And so he was delivering food. You've seen him? You've seen him?
He helped him with the garlic.
He helped you with the garlic?
The breakthrough seems to finally bring Sonia out of her shell.
Oh my God!
You're feeling happier?
Well,
finally, like, vindication.
Yeah, I'm getting here. I'm getting there. I'm telling you, he's here. He was here. The feeling that I've got, he was here. And look, everyone's saying that yes, like for him to say he came in and peeled garlic with him, that's something that Roger would do.
The head of the camp says that if Roger helped in any official way, then his name would be recorded. But it's not.
What are you thinking?
We're really close. A lot of people, they say, might have seen him. I reckon they have seen him.
The last possibility is that he was working with the Aleppo Relief Service, so we have to head further into Syria. But it's another dead end. Although Sonia doesn't seem to want to accept it.
You can't, unless...
You don't believe it?
As we head back to the hotel, I can see Sonia's disappointment. Tomorrow we're visiting the second camp, and then we're out of options. Although there is one avenue I haven't explored. If Roger was with other Australians, then they must surely be traceable online. I have enough info on his family, friends and contacts to start searching for links to Syria. And very soon, a story starts to emerge.
Dear brothers and sisters, this is the medical bag. As you can see, it's gifted from Australia.
Videos of people delivering aid inside Syria to places we'd been to. Volunteers driving away from explosions deep in the war zone. Pictures of aid containers in camps and outside camps. Posts from friends encouraging the efforts but never mentioning specific info. I'm beginning to realise why details of Roger's death may have been kept hidden. The next morning, I plan to share the news with Sonia. Basically, Sonia just had a major meltdown at breakfast. She was really angry, really upset. She said that she felt that going to Baba Hawa was going around in circles, that we wouldn't find anything there, and that she didn't want to go. You're right. And she raced out of the breakfast room. So I've got to go find out what happened to her. So what was that about?
I don't think it was much time for me yesterday in there, and I know he was there.
Well, there's no problem with you going back out there today or tomorrow and trying to find more information on your own. If you're absolutely sure that
I can't be sure,
Baba Hawa
I'm not
is
sure.
a dead end, but you said today you won't find anything there at breakfast.
I'm not sure, but this is a place from the beginning I told you I wanted to come.
You actually told me you wanted to go to Hatay from the beginning.
Yeah, Hatay, well, I don't even know what. And then I got the, Azaz and all that. And
I'm saying that if you feel that the answer is here in that camp, then we stay, we wait.
I'm worn out, to be honest. I am worn out.
You want me to tell you what I think?
Yeah, go. Please, I'm just so confused.
I think that he decided to come to Syria because, without going into names, he knew people who were working in aid over here. There's a circle of people from Australia, Arabs, non-Arabs, who are bringing aid into Syria and taking it all over the country. I think that he came in to help them genuinely. So the Free Syrian Army would have told him where to go, or someone with his group, a network of aid buddies, would have told him where he needed to go. And at some point on that journey, he's got caught in crossfire and he's been killed.
Well, it does make sense. It really does. But me, being a sister, death is not easy for the family to lose a brother or, someone from the family. It's very hard. But what keeps us going is that he died doing the right thing, helping.
Whether he was a humanitarian over here or a fighter, we still can't confirm exactly what he was here for. We know what he said he was coming for, though.
If he was a fighter, good on him. I'm proud of him. If I was a man, I'd come and fight. Because being a fighter is not being to kill other people. Being a fighter is protecting your women and children from getting attacked. Whether he's a fighter or an aid worker. To me, I'm proud of him. Either way. And I think everybody else should be proud of him.
It's been a long 2 weeks, and even though I'm disappointed Sonia didn't get to see Roger's final resting place, I'm glad it was her who called time on the journey. That afternoon, I decide to go back into Syria one last time. The Australians I met on this journey seem motivated mainly by a desire to help. And while most of them experienced the reality of war and got out, Roger was not so lucky. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him, but maybe Khalil put it best when he said that war is like snow. It covers the truth, and until it's gone, the truth will remain hidden. Next time on Head First.
I have a boy's brain and a girl's body.
I want to have boobies.
I've always been female.
What if you were born in the wrong body?
I thought I was always gay.
This is what I should have looked like.
And the only thing you want to do is change that body.
You can imagine what it takes to say, I want to have my penis cut off.
People are going to have to just roll with it.
Love around the world.
But what happens if the world isn't ready for change?
We want to put our children in boxes.
It's great, man.